So here's our spoiler review for I Know What You Did Last Summer, and now we can really kind of talk about the deep cut stuff, really get into the stuff that bothered us. I think we got to start off with the killer reveals. I mean,
Yeah.
there's other stuff that we can talk about, but if you're watching the spoiler review, you're probably wanting to talk about this, at least we are. The killer reveal of Ray bugs the hell out of me in such a way that it almost, I don't want to say it almost ruined the movie for me, but it really took my grade down for the movie, or took my enjoyment way down, because I'm okay with, I'm really sick of this whole thing with these legacy characters that we're doing with movies now. It's like, first off, it's the never ending IP. We just never let these IPs die. It's like, we can't just have I Know What You Did Last Summer and I Still Know What You Did Last Summer in the 90s and just let that rest. We got to reboot everything. We got to bring back characters. We got to bring back Freddie Prinze Jr. and Jennifer Love Hewitt. Fine, that's cool. But do we have to make every single person that comes back miserable? Like, their just life is in shambles when they come back. It's like Dewey with the Scream franchise when they brought him back. Bugs the hell out of me. It really pisses me off, because it's like, you can have the legacy character. If you're going to use the legacy characters, like, use the legacy characters. I don't get the fascination with, like, we either got to make them miserable or we got to make them a bad person now. And so for me, and I don't think Ray's like this, Freddie Prinze Jr.'s Ray is like this icon, this horror icon, but it bugs the hell out of me that, like, he's the killer in this.
See, this didn't bug me as much as it bugged you, and I thought it would bug me more. But when he's given his little speech about why he is doing this, it made more sense to me. And first it's revealed that one of the actual friends, Stevie, is the killer, and then you find out that she had help. Who helped her? Ray. So that got me to my one major con, is that the fights are different based on who they're killing. So, like, the men, they were able to, like, dispatch them super quick.
We're assuming that that's Ray, right?
Yeah,
like, we're just assuming.
And you would have to, because, and again, they show the guy in the slicker or whatever, and it's a big dude. Like, it's a big character.
If you were to rewatch it, I'm sure we can maybe.
You probably can.
He's got to be the guy who killed the fiance at the beginning.
Gotta be, yeah.
And then he's got to be. He pretty much killed all the guys, it seems like.
It's got to be. But then when it's time for the girls, they miss every time they slash with the hook. They can't. They're falling down. They're getting knocked over. So again, if we watch this again, it might be kind of like a Scream, original Scream thing. Yeah. We're like, oh, that person, Billy did this one, Stu did this one. But again, like, it didn't bug me near as much. If you'd have told me before I watched the movie, like, hey, he's going to be that, I probably wouldn't even have watched it. I'd have been like, oh, that's stupid. But when I actually saw it play out, it didn't bother me as much as I thought it would.
The more I'm even thinking about it right now, it's angering me, because I just feel like it's a typical, like, hey, you know what? Why don't we just make, he was one of the heroes from the original. Let's make him the killer. Nobody's going to expect it.
To me, that makes more sense than just
So you're telling me this guy's just sitting around. He turns his boathouse into a very successful restaurant.
You don't know how successful.
And hey, if it's still up and running on the water, it's successful, especially in Southport. Are you kidding me?
He could have had debt.
I'm okay with him having a vendetta against the town. There's a good scene early on where he goes to the town hall, and it's when you were introduced to Freddie Prinze Jr.'s character in this movie for the first time. And Ray is, like, sitting there saying, like, y'all know what y'all are hiding. Like, y'all tried to scope. I'm cool with that storyline. But you can't make me believe, because the whole first movies, he's the prime suspect in the first movie. It's that whole thing with Scream, with, Skeet Ulrich, where it's like, oh, it's the most obvious choice. It's got to be him. They play that in both movies. And I just hate the fact that, like, so you're telling me this guy goes from that to all of a sudden being a stone cold killer, and he's not killing the stuff where he kills, like, the head guy of the town or whatever, who's covering everything up. That kill makes sense to me. Like, I wouldn't be like, oh, he's a terrible, he's an awful, like, sadistic killer if that guy's screwing people over and he screwed over Ray or something like that. But for him to kill off these new kids just because he says that, oh, the town's a race and all this, and he's got to kill this whole group, and it's just annoying, man. And then they put they shoehorn that stuff in with the religious stuff with the church, which I thought would have been really interesting. And they never dive deeper into that. I'm thinking, oh, dude, there's going to be like a cult aspect of it. Maybe maybe Ray got involved with the cult, or maybe like she's trying to escape the cult and these people are trying to bring her back. That was an interesting take that I would have liked to have seen more of. But man, it just felt kind of lazy to me to make Ray the killer, because there was an ongoing joke of like, it's got to be Freddie Prinze Jr.
I mean, again, I don't. If it would have been someone else, I probably would have preferred that. But again, it didn't bother me.
Why would he go from owning a semi-successful thought-out restaurant to killing all these kids? And the reason I say kids is because these people are like 21, 22 years old. So like, why is he killing these young adults? He goes from that, surviving all this stuff,
I'm going to tell you,
going to kill off everybody.
I'm going to tell you, because he says he made a promise to Stevie's dad that he would take care of him.
And we never see that relationship. That makes no sense. It's like, I made a promise to your dad that we never get to meet on screen, in a relationship that happened completely off screen that I'm killing for.
Dude, they showed the scene. They showed the scene of them loading stuff into the truck.
No, yeah, but his real reason for killing everybody was he was telling Jennifer Love Hewitt, because a killer's got to tell you the motive. He's got to tell you what he's doing. He's like, they're trying to erase us, from all this. And Jennifer Love Hewitt's like, I cannot believe you're doing this right now. And it's like, dude, why the hell would he do that? Why would he do that? There's a better way. If he hates the town so much, leave the town.
He's got a bar there. He's up to the water. He's up to his neck in debt and bills.
Who says he's in debt?
I'm just saying. I would imagine he'd probably be interesting
if he would have been in debt. Now I have somewhat of a motive, but his main motive for killing all these people, which, by the way, what are the odds of this accident happening? And that's what we didn't get to, because we couldn't really get into it, because this is kind of a spoiler. I didn't like that either. That's my biggest gripe of the movie. I
thought they could have done a bunch. I was just thinking ways on the way home of like ways they could have done it. They could have had something where they're they're all partying on the beach or something, and some guy drowns or something.
That's what makes the first movie so interesting, is because they actually do something messed up.
Yeah,
they actually do commit manslaughter while drinking and driving.
Isn't that bad.
No, they could have been okay.
Yeah,
they could have explained it. He was he's in the middle of the road. The character that's got the most power and influence, because his dad's rich and has all this power. This guy veers off the road. They do try to help save the guy. If they would have told the cops that, every single cop in that town would have believed it. Yeah. And they probably would have been like, you shouldn't have been in the middle of the road, but like, I don't know the law, but I don't think it would have played out so terrible. Or maybe, guess what? Maybe you lie about that part a little bit. You say, hey, you know what?
Maybe you leave out the part where you're in the middle of the road.
We got outside to look at the fireworks. Guy was driving. He was speeding. Hey,
let's not forget, and you find this out later, that he stole a car.
He stole a car.
And
was part of a cult. A religious cult.
And he was on, according to the not the mayor, but the powerful guy, he was on drugs.
I don't know if that was true. But he's part of a religious cult who, it seemed, nothing really fishy, I guess, happened. But that book that they found, man, that was pretty wild. That's what I'm saying. They didn't explore that, so I can't guarantee that they were doing bad stuff, but it felt culty. It felt weird. He was part of that. So we're doing all this for this guy. The first one, the good thing was you didn't know. He was just a nobody.
That was the thing that at the very beginning I kept saying to myself is like, dude, they could explain this away in like 5 minutes.
Yeah.
They're not. And they tried to help the guy. It's not like they pushed him over the edge
and they're
or anything.
arguing about all this stuff like, we're not going to the police. Why wouldn't you go to the police? Your dad owns the police force, it seems like.
And that was another thing.
He owns the town, man.
Yeah, as he kept saying that, my dad will take care of it. Okay, what's easier to explain away? This guy died because you were accidentally in the middle of the road, or you were playing around.
Yeah.
Or that you just left this dude for dead, and now all this other stuff you got to explain away.
Yeah, I honestly thought at that moment, because I was enjoying it, and this happens in the first 20 minutes of the movie. Again, if you're watching this,
maybe
this. Yeah, but I'm saying, I thought right then, I was like, we're in trouble. I was thinking to myself, like, we're in trouble. This movie's about to suck, because like, that's such a stupid decision.
Yeah.
I get that you want to make the main characters, you want to be sympathetic for them, but you were sympathetic for the character. I'd argue that you were more sympathetic for the original characters because they did screw up really bad. So a small part of you's thinking, they kind of deserve this a little bit, because they did like hit a guy with a car and kill him. Like, you know what I'm saying? And they tried to cover it up. Like, that's a big time thing where you're like, I don't agree with like them getting killed off like that, but like, you understand the rage that puts somebody in. Like you said, this guy driving a stolen car The guy's in the middle of the road, but it's not like he's doing anything illegal I mean, I guess staying in the middle of the road's illegal, but he's not doing anything crazy. He's not trying to be like, you get what I'm trying to say? It's not like he's like doing this weird thing where he's playing chicken with his car and he's driving straight at the guy.
Yeah, I thought they could have done a number of things. They could have had a thing where they're all, they had this guy that just happened to be there and he joins them for something. He ends up drowning because they're swimming or, just a bunch of different anything, but almost an exact replica of how the original was.
That's my thing. Why not just do the exact opening? Like, why not just have them drinking and driving, or they were on, that was a weird choice, and I think it's strategically made to be like, hey, we want to make sure like these characters are good people.
Yeah,
like they didn't mess up like the other people from the original.
Other juvenile delinquents.
That's what made the original. That's what this one was lacking. Is that as good as the characters were, and as big of a highlight as that was for me, the stress that characters like Sarah Michelle Gellar's character in the original were feeling, because they were feeling that weight and that guilt. There was none of that. They give you some of that of like, I know how tough this year's been for you. Show me on the screen. Show me the stress. Like Sarah Michelle Gellar's character is like super stressed. She's trying to be, the miss, whatever that's called at the pageant. Ryan Phillippe's, he's so angry the whole movie. So when he gets chased down, you're like, it's kind of funny because he's just such like, he's want to kick everybody's ass. And I don't know the actor's name, Tyreek Withers, who plays Teddy, who's like the Ryan Phillippe character. He was fantastic.
Yeah, he was
so funny. And I thought he was going to be annoying, but that bothered the hell out of me, was that reveal. And then again, to tie that to what we were talking about earlier with the Freddie Prinze Jr. being the killer, there's no way, all of this because of that. Like, and I just, I can't accept that this guy who lived through all this stuff, first off, why him and Jennifer Love Hewitt hate each other is never explained.
Yeah, I wish they would have explained like what happened, know.
I mean, they went on vacation together last time we saw them.
Yeah.
And
that was a long time ago.
That was a long time ago, but explain something that happened. At least in the Scream reboot, when Dewey's on they kind of explain what happened between him and Courtney Cox on that, But I hate that trope, man. I feel like they did the exact same thing with Dewey. At least Dewey got to help the team and like wasn't, was a good guy. But I hated the way they killed off Dewey in Scream 5, and I hated the way they did Ray in this movie. I just feel like it's kind of cheap. It's like, Jennifer Love Hewitt turned out to be this great, she moved on and she became this great person and this professor and all this stuff. And then Ray still has a boat restaurant, semi-successful restaurant business. And all of a sudden wants to go on a killing spree. And he even says, the only way to make people notice is a killing spree. I was like, what the hell?
He's on to something.
But I'm just saying, it makes sense if he's going after the dad, like and I told you to write this down because I didn't want to forget it. I just remembered this has a lot of parallels to Jaws about like, this character, and there's even some few scenes where it's like so much like a callback to Jaws, what I really liked. But gosh, that bothered me so bad. I know it doesn't bother you as much, but it really pisses me off. I'm sick and tired of bringing legacy characters back and just basically like making them like irrelevant or making them horrible people or miserable people. It's like, do we have to keep doing this? Can we just have I don't even want to see it anymore if that's how we're going to keep doing it. It's just so annoying to me that after everything he's been through, he didn't get to have a good moment of glory or actually getting to help somebody. He had to be the killer. It bothers the hell. I mean, Jennifer Love Hewitt sitting around her, she's dealing with some trauma, but her life is great. And he's got a semi-successful restaurant business, and he wants to kill off people.
Dude, I told you, man, he made a promise to that guy's daughter.
But we don't see that. Guy. We never saw that.
Well, it's implied.
I thought he was talking. I honestly, for a split second, I couldn't remember if Rod Phillippe and Sarah Michelle Gellar had a kid. I know how silly that sounds, but I was thinking like, oh, is this a way for him to talk? Was he talking about Ryan Phillippe's character? And I thought that they had an interesting thing where they talk about that line where it's like, what it's like. He's telling Freddie Prinze Jr. is telling Jennifer Love Hewitt, like, what it's like when you get mixed up with the wrong crowd. That would have been something interesting to explore, And I want to shift over to
what if they would have explained it a little bit better? What if they would have said, what if they'd had Stevie be like, I started doing this and I realized I couldn't, I needed help. And then he was like, I decided to help her. Like, You know what I mean?
I thought it would have been very interesting if maybe he's the guy's dad who's trying to clean up all the mess because he's trying to protect his son, protect Southport's investments, all this stuff. Stevie knows maybe too much, and he's trying to kill Stevie off. And then that's when Ray decides, okay, I'm going to put on this costume. I'm going to give him something to try to cover up again. And I'm going to take out actual bad people.
Why would he try to kill Stevie?
No, he's not going to try to kill Stevie. The guy who's trying to cover up everything, the guy's dead.
Why would he want to?
Because maybe I'm saying if the plot was played out different, where Stevie was the only one of the group who went forward and she kind of snitched or something, but she told the head of police and then he took it to her. Maybe the plot is like they're trying to take out this Stevie character, and that's when Ray comes in to protect her. But they wanted to make Ray the killer. That's what I had a problem with, is like you could kind of see the writing on the wall that like that was the only. That's what they wanted. They wrote themselves into, hey, how do we make Ray the killer? Made no sense. I mean, it's not the equivalent, but it's like if Dewey was the killer in the new Scream movie. Makes no sense.
No, that's different. Dewey was in like 4 or 5 movies,
but but he's in 2, and he all of a sudden becomes
barely in the second one.
We'll just agree to disagree, but it almost ruined the whole movie for me. And I really enjoyed this movie for the most part, but that bothers me a great deal.
Yeah, I mean, if I would have had my preference, he wouldn't have been the killer. But again, it doesn't bother me to the point to where it affects the overall feeling of the movie.
Yeah, I'm just sick of what they're doing with these legacy characters.
And I understand. I get that.
Let's either move on completely or actually do a true sequel. I'd prefer, as much nostalgia as I have for these movies, and I show up to the theaters. I'm part of the problem. I buy the tickets. I'm getting sick of the way some of these legacy characters get treated. It's like, hey, man, let's bring him back and just make him the most miserable human being on the face of the earth. And then, no redemption.
I mean, look, he wasn't the most miserable person on earth. He had a semi-successful bar business.
Yeah. He wouldn't risk that. He wouldn't risk that to protect a cult member. Now
I do wish they would have kind of flushed that out a little bit more. I wish they would have gone into the cult a little bit.
Or what if it would have? I would have almost accepted if during his depression and trauma he gets involved in a cult.
Yeah, like maybe. Oh my god!
And he becomes a cult guy, and he's protecting the cult or something.
Yeah, they had the cult people in on the whole thing, and that's why they were able to get around.
That's what I'm saying. There were some interesting things. I feel like there's a bit on the cutting room floor because there did seem to be some interesting threads that they were going to go that cult angle, and they never really dove deep into that. Maybe that was a misdirection on purpose. We're talking about Milo. Now that we can get in a little bit more spoilers, Milo goes out the dumbest way possible. Okay, he's about to have sex with just a gorgeous woman. Yeah. She asks to be choked. And he says, I need a minute.
And look, and I kind of get that. Cause look, that kind of freaked me out a little bit, I think. Maybe. Like, she says she's, told him.
She's like, I need to be punished.
Yeah. Like, maybe the choking thing would have been okay. But then when she kind of went to the extra bit, I just thought that
why couldn't you just said, like, is everything okay? But he's like, I need to actually go out to my car and think. Get my phone charger.
Yeah, that was.
Guys, that pissed me off. I mean, that's the part we were alluding to in the non-spoiler of like characters making dumb decisions. That was the main one.
That was the main one. And, again, the cemetery leaving is it Maddie Klein or Madeline?
Yeah, but I'm going to defend that a little bit because that's a total misdirection.
It makes a little bit more sense.
They want you to kind of think that it's her boyfriend. And, I really liked how they played that character. Like they were trying to make fun of him kind of with like how like tough, he was acting all this. But I actually think it was really like charming character. Like he was really funny. Like you really wanted to hate him.
Yeah.
But he didn't reach levels of like that dude in the 2009 Friday the 13th, the blonde guy. Mm-hmm. He doesn't reach those levels of douchiness. But it's a character that could have been one note that I feel like he made him a memorable character. But yeah, dude, that really bothered me that he's about to have sex with this woman. She wants to be choked. He says, I need a minute.
Yeah. And
I need to go charge my phone. Just stay right there. I need to go charge my phone for a bit.
Yeah. I mean, and again, it's those things that like the more you think about it, and that's why I try not to overthink certain movies because
I don't either. Yeah.
The more that you overthink a movie like this, you're gonna find those little like, why didn't they run up the stairs instead of going here, or whatever.
That could have been a great opportunity for him to just be like when she mentioned, because that's one of our main characters, and she was like, I deserve it. That could have been a nice little character moment between them two. We can finally see that what the movies told us is like an on and off again type of thing. Will they, won't they? That could have been a nice moment there. But I would have liked to have seen that a little bit more than opposed to him just going out to his car to check his phone. I felt like that was like, okay, we don't really have nothing left for this character to do.
Yeah.
We need to kill him off so he's not a suspect anymore. So let's just kill him off and let him get choked out,
Yeah.
That had to be Freddie
Well,
Prinze.
that's what's kind of, if you really think about it, he got choked.
And I defend that scene a little bit more now.
Yeah,
I just thought about it. He ends up getting choked.
Yeah, so
he could have been choking, but he gets choked. Oh man, that's actually, I like that.
Yeah, so
I still think it's funny. I was like, "Where's my charger?"
Yeah, yeah, but again, there's like little nitpicky things that you can find in this movie.
But I hate when a killer's revealed. So Stevie's our next killer. You know this because you've watched it, and she's wearing Converse, okay? And then they automatically go crazy when they reveal. They're so cool and collected, but then all of a sudden, when they tell you they're the killer, they're crazy all of a sudden.
But here's the thing: you don't get to see her face when she's killing these people. So how do you know?
No, but now she's like, I'm just crazy all of a sudden.
Well, because then, dude, like now the mask is literally off.
Jeez,
now
bro,
you can let yourself go.
Bro, you're seeing this movie in different.
Yeah, I was seeing this movie on different levels. Maybe that's why
Freddie Prinze Jr. comes out there during that killer reveal. He's like, it's me, don't you?
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, no shit.
Yeah.
You locked her in the semi-successful Boathouse restaurant. Oh, that pissed me off so bad. There's a version of it to where I could have been okay with it, but that pissed me off.
If they would have explained the cult, I think if they'd used the cult angle a little bit, like maybe he got in the cult because, his divorce kind of sent him down a path, and plus the other trauma he had.
Yeah.
That would have made a little bit more sense, I think. But again, now you're looking at another 15 to 20 minutes added onto the movie.
And I've been a big proponent of this, and you know this about me. I think you do anyway. Is when I'm watching a horror movie, again, this is kind of a thriller / horror in that order, you could say. But when I see a movie like this, I always think the quiet moments are what makes a movie super memorable and like takes it to that next level. Because I feel like a lot of movies do like the scares and the kills right, but it's like, are you getting those other smaller moments right? Definitely stay tuned. If you just
not even end credits, more like
you got to get through the first thing, but they're showing all this beach stuff. Just stick around; it's like really quick. But I thought that was one of the cooler.
Yeah, I was not expecting that.
And so, again, this is a spoiler review. So Brandy's back, and now it's her and Jennifer Love Hewitt. I guess it's either
they're going to be killers now, bro.
Killers, man.
They're going to be killers, just slashing and dicing people.
Yeah, and I mean, there was a lot of that, like, and it didn't really bother me, but there was a lot of that, like, there's a joke about, like, towards the end of the movie, like, if all men need to do is go to therapy, and they probably wouldn't have killed off everybody in the town, and like everybody's giggling and stuff. It's like, okay.
Well, what's funny though is like the girl.
Yeah, she gets off scot-free. They're like, yeah, she could still be alive.
No, they said, they're like, hey, Stevie's alive.
Yeah.
That was kind of weird, but
but little moments like that were a little annoying, I'll be honest.
The Brandy reveal was cool because, and again, I don't know what their plans are going forward with it.
Are they going to go hunt that shit?
Dude, I don't know. But I did think that was,
depending on how well this does, obviously.
Yeah, because now it's like, okay, who sent that photograph? There's a photograph that Jennifer Love Hewitt shows up to her house and shows her this photograph that someone sent to her, and it's of her and Brandy, and they got the Brandy X'd out like in a marker. So the question is like, who sent that to her? Obviously it wasn't Ray, unless he did it from the grave.
Yeah.
But
that was cool because
it's really like that.
Because it's like a nod to like, we might do I Still Know What You Did Last Summer. Which, by the way, that also bugs the hell out of me. Don't call this I Know What You Did Last Summer. We already got an I Know What You Did Last Summer. I don't like that. It's confusing. It's like, I Know What You Did Last Summer 1997. I Know What You Did Last Summer 2025. They did the same shit with Scream. It's like, we already got Scream, and now we got Scream 5, but it's called Scream.
Now, the Scream thing doesn't make sense. The Scream thing doesn't make sense because, and again, I know they were trying to like soft reboot the whole thing. Like, not reboot, but they're starting over like a new kind of trilogy, I guess. But to me, like, yeah, it's a little confusing, but
so the end credit scene, Brandy, if they do make a sequel, let's end our review with a prediction. If they make a sequel to this, where are we going with this? Like, it can't be, you know, they've kind of written themselves in the corner where they're trying to make this dude's outfit like the outfit.
Well, and again, you know, we keep saying like, man, they can't bring back this person. They can't do that. Dude, it's horror movie. Like they could bring back whoever the hell they want.
Yeah.
You know, they could bring back Ryan Phillippe if they.
You know what I think is brilliant about that end credit scene, which I just think was a truly brilliant way to nod to fans of I Still Know What You Did Last Summer, because you know, again, if you grew up during that time, man, Brandy was huge, man. And so what's funny and what's brilliant about it is a lot of people are probably going to go watch that movie now. Because they're like, if you're somebody who just watched this, like again, the newer generation of people that are watching this who never watched the original, I Know What You Did Last Summer. Now they're like, who is that character? Like now they're going to want to go watch I Still Know What You Did Last Summer. I'm wanting to kind of revisit it to see like who in that movie could possibly be it. You know,
well,
like
you just got to skip the Jack Black parts.
Dude, I'm telling you, there was a small part of me that wanted them to nod to that a little bit, and maybe they did, and I missed it. But I thought that would have been hilarious.
Dude, what if she'd have been married to Jack Black? Like I know he
gets
died.
killed. Yeah, but they can bring anybody back.
They can bring him back. You know, you never know.
Dude, I thought she was going to come by for a split second. I thought Jennifer Love Hewitt was going to be a killer. Like when she comes in, when she is like, "Can I come in?" She's like, "Yeah, sure." She's like, "I'm sorry to do this," but you know, she's got a generic baseball cap because you can't have any logos. You'd have to pay the rights, but so she just has a regular baseball cap, and she's like, "Let's go do this." So man, I don't know if it's going to be some type of like buddy cop movie on the next one or what. It would be cool if that was just a fun. I feel like they leave it open enough to where there could be a sequel, but they put it after the credits strategically just in case this movie doesn't do as well. But obviously they'd have to bring back the two leads, Madeline Klein and Chase Sui Wonders' character, which I would like to see them again, actually.
I would rather see them than the legacy characters.
All four of them. All four of them go out. They're looking for Stevie. I wonder if the cult. You think the cult?
The cult's still alive. The crazy girl that was just washing the windows. She's still alive, doing God's work.
I would have liked to have seen that fleshed out a bit more. But
the cult angle, I wish they would have expanded.
But the pacing was really good in this, so I don't want to I try not to do this thing where it's like, here's how I would want it. But that's the spoiler review right there. But any last thoughts? I think it's still worth your time. I definitely think that this movie, I don't care what the Rotten Tomatoes score ends up saying. I don't care what the critics are saying. I'm telling you right now, as people who watch these type of movies and that, pretty skeptical of when they do like these requels or reboots, we really enjoyed it.
Yeah,
so again, I thought it was good. I think it's definitely worth your time, and I'm hoping this movie does well enough to maybe get that next one, because now I'm kind of intrigued.
Well, and here's the thing too: it doesn't have to make a ton of money. It doesn't have to make Superman money or these movies that have a huge budgets. I doubt the budget's that big for this movie. So hopefully, I would like to see another movie made in this realm. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So again, it exceeded my expectations. Is it the greatest horror movie of all time? No, but I will say I think it's very good. I think it's something that if you went in the theater and saw, you'd be pleased when you leave the theater.
Never fall, even though like we want original movie, like we always talk about how much we want original movies. We still do. But for this movie to be kind of it never felt stale, and it never felt at any moment, for me anyway, of like, why is this movie even being made?
Yeah.
I never got that. So I would go check it out.